Hey guys, we're going to be taking a look at the Vivobook. This is a M5606W model. This one is particularly the one from Costco. This is a 16-inch laptop. Right now you can get it for $900, $15 shipping, and obviously plus tax. It's a very good deal. If you look at like Newegg and Best Buy, they're much more expensive. Normally, Best Buy has $1,000 laptops with OLED at around $1,000 or $1,100 with discounts or promotions, and they only have 16 gigs of RAM. Something I did not know is that Windows 11, because all the new laptops come with Windows 11, and my old desktop is Windows 10. Windows 11 uses a ton of RAM, so if you get 16 gigs, that's a bare minimum for 2025. So let me open up Task Manager. Alright, so I brought up Task Manager. Right now it's at 30%, but the other day I was just like browsing and just doing some stuff. Let me see. Let me bring up Chrome, because Chrome is a big program. It's at 34%. I'm gonna get my ASUS application. Let's see. Let's get my ASUS. So once that opens, we'll look at it. But so far, this laptop is very good. So right there, we can see the RGB. The keyboard is very good. It's a very good keyboard. One of the best that I've used on a laptop. The battery, I think the battery is okay. It's not the best. The website exaggerates saying that it's like 14 hours or whatever. I did the battery care thing where it sets it at 80%, and then right now it's saying 74%. And it's detecting that that's gonna last for around 5 hours, right? So right now it's saying 5 hours. I just booted and opened some stuff, so it's thinking it's draining more power right now. But yeah, the battery, it could be better. Yeah, I think it's a 75 watt hour battery. Airports have a limit of 100 watt hours. You can't have more than 100 watts. So if this was a little bit higher, that would have been nice. But it's a thin laptop. It's supposed to be light, so it gets a pass there. It does come with a 90 watt charger, so we're gonna close it so you guys can see it. This is a finish also, so that you can see it's like a anodized aluminum, and then we can see the bottom. There's no Windows sticker, which I used to remember they used to have Windows stickers. Fans, it has 2 fans down there, and then you can open it with 1 finger, which is nice. And then it does have hello, Windows Hello, so that it unlocks with your face. And then here's a charger. Again, this is a 90 watt charger, so that you're able to charge and use it at the same time. It's averaged at 45 watt power. And then this is a box that it comes with. Pretty simple. I like keeping the box at least for a couple days in case I need to return anything, or anything goes wrong. Comes with these little pamphlets. Gives you a little guide to set up some stuff, user guide, all that. I think right here is the brick, and then over here is a power cable that it comes with. Let me put that back. And then shipping was pretty quick. They could put more padding in the box that this comes in, just so that you're safe and it doesn't get damaged. But Costco did a fine job, because I live pretty close by, so to a Costco. So when you first get this laptop, just make sure that you leave it plugged in for 3 hours before you start it up. And then when you do start it up, make sure that it's still plugged in, just to make sure that you don't run out of battery while there's updates made and all that. It does come pre-installed with McAfee antivirus, which I'm not going to be renewing or even adding the full year. I'm going to have the full year promo code just in case. But this program uses a lot of resources, and it's probably affecting the battery because it does a lot of background work. But yeah, let me bring up the benchmark, because I did do like a benchmark with this user benchmark, and I know it's not the most trusted user benchmark. And then let me get my results. Alright, so here's a benchmark that I made. So for gaming, it's, you know, the bare minimum 35%. That as a desktop, it does have a very good processor. It's an 8-core, I think 16 threads. Technically, it does have efficiency cores. It's not as efficient as Intel Evo, but it's more powerful than the Intel Evo. And then as a workstation, it's saying it's around 37%. So here we can see the AMD Ryzen 365, and it got a pretty good score, so it's well optimized on this computer. And then we can see the integrated graphics. It has a Radeon 880M. It's crazy to think that this is more powerful than a 1050 Ti, because I used to have that graphics card and it rates actually lower than this. Alright guys, so where was I? Yeah, so it has a crucial 1TB SSD NVMe. Its speeds are pretty okay. You can see them there. And then the RAM is very good. So that's the RAM. It's a Samsung for 8 GB. And it's reaching 7500 megahertz, so it is pretty high. I believe this is DDR5. And then I do think it's PCIe, the graphics card, or I mean the NVMe, I think it's PCIe 4, I believe. But these are the numbers. And then the speakers, they're considered Dolby Atmos tuned, and it's by Harman Kardon. Now I wish the speakers, they were up here. They're not. They're down here. They're down firing. So that's something that I don't like about them. There's one there. So it's pretty much stereo. It's very good stereo sound. But it's just bad, and I would just wish they were up here. And so let me close that out. Yeah, so RAM is at 35%. So how much is that being used? So that's 11 gigs. So if you had 16 gigs, you don't have that much leeway. We could see the disk. It does have an NPU for Copilot. It even has a Copilot button right there. The keyboard does light up, so you can change the brightness levels there. The screen is very pretty. It is a OLED. So let's put something very bright. So we have it very bright right there. And then if we do like an HDR video. So here we have a HDR video. Let's play it. So it looks very nice. It does have 2 USBs, which is great. And then it does have HDMI. This is the one you charge through. And then it does have Thunderbolt, 40 gigabytes per second. And then it does have a slot for micro SD cards, which is great. And then it does have a 3.5 millimeter jack. Yeah, so battery's at 71%. So like I mentioned, it could be better. Right now it's not even giving me an estimate. But you could do a lot of the power management in settings. So you'll go to settings and then you go to power battery. Right now I do have it on best power efficiency when it's unplugged, and then I do have it on energy saver just when it's unplugged, and then when I do connect it I have it on performance, and then I do have my fan preset to the very highest, like full capacity, just so that it doesn't get too hot. And if it's plugged in, I don't really care about the sound, or I don't care about it using more power, because that's what I paid for a fast computer. So just make sure, like I mentioned, you install everything. You do all the updates. Radeon, the AMD drivers will kind of tell you like you need to install the drivers, so just make sure you install those too. This app is very good, and I suggest that you go here to device settings, and then you do go through all of these. So I did set battery care mode on, fan profile. I set it full speed mode, so run at full speed and enjoy the ultimate performance. It only goes full speed if it needs to. So right now it's on energy saver mode, so that overrides this profile. But when I plug it in, it does speed up the fans when necessary. And then the memory allocation, it uses up to 60 gigabytes of the RAM, of the 32 gigabyte RAM, so it is shared on the GPU, on the integrated graphics. So the sound mode, I do have it on dynamic. I was testing it out. I think that one sounds the best, either dynamic or custom one. I feel like music sounds a little bit muffled, but you can definitely test it out. And then volume booster does get very loud. I have it off because I don't really need it too high. And then I would suggest for the ASUS OLED care, you have these checked on. I have it on normal mode, vivid. The colors look a little bit unnatural, especially on skin tones, so I just leave it on the normal. And then the refresh rate, I leave it on adaptive. I do leave the 120 hertz even when it's unplugged, because I want to be able to move, very smoothly, because it is 120 hertz. This is not touchscreen, so just keep that in mind. I didn't even want touchscreen, so that worked for me. And then here's where you can change like the keyboard, some of the keyboard settings. The rest are in the settings over here for Windows 11, but the keyboard backlight, I have it where it turns off every 10 seconds if I'm not typing, just so it doesn't use unnecessary power. And then that's only set when it's on battery mode. And then otherwise, if it's plugged in, I want it to use, I want to have the lights on. So I think it's over here. Let me go to it. Let me find it. Alright, so you're going to go to personalization. Alright, and then in personalization, you're going to go to dynamic lighting. And then after dynamic lighting, you click on the keyboard, and then here's where you can change the different colors. You can change the brightness if you want it solid color, you want it breathing, rainbow. You could do all of that, but that's where you can change that. So let me get out of here, and yeah, that's pretty much everything. Again, it's a very solid laptop. For the price is very good, and if you have any questions, let me know, and then you can check out the link in the description below. I may have this linked. Alright, see ya.